All right, guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of the beginner's guide for GSPro. I did part 1, and because I got a lot of great comments that it really helped a lot of people out, I wanted to continue this and show more of the stuff in GSPro that beginners might want to know. This is aimed at new users and maybe people that haven't even purchased GSPro yet. If you are in that category, please check out part 1, but this will continue from where we left off there. So in part 1, we did purchasing GSPro, setting it up, some of the basic settings, how to set up a match and find courses, how to basically handle the gameplay, how to play the game with what's on the screen, how to practice in there on the driving range and on-course practice. In this video, I'm gonna go through some more of the detailed settings that we didn't cover before. We're gonna talk about ghost play, ghost rounds, and then we're gonna go through the challenges like the ultimate long drive and the distance challenges and all those things as well. And hopefully, if I have time, I will add in how to set up an online match because that is one of the most fun ways to play in your golf simulator. So, let's get started with some of those extra settings that we can go through. So one of the things we wanted to cover was adding players. So up here at the top, you see the players button, and you can see the players that I've added into my system here. This has all of my info in there, which will blur out. But I'll go add this other player here, Dylan, who is my brother that I've added in here as an example. So obviously we gave him a name. The Simulator Golf Tour ID, he is not in SGT, so there's just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number here. If you are in SGT, you have to copy your name and your SGT number exactly as they are for SGT for everything to sync up. Then an email address, you've got a handicap, which you can slide, you can just adjust it to whatever you feel is necessary, left-handed and right-handed for the players. But really what I wanted to show here is Realism at the bottom. So if you leave it on global, it's going to copy whatever the Realism setting is for the entire game. But you can do custom, and if you click on custom, what this allows you to do is change the Realism settings for a player. So for example, if Dylan doesn't really play golf at all, but he wants to play with me, it cannot be very fun. So what we can do is adjust these Realism settings to basically give him a boost and make it more fun for someone that doesn't really play. So we've got ball curvature, full to restricted, and you can obviously use that slider. Full would be you're getting exactly the ball curvature you would get in real life. That's coming from your launch monitor. If you slide it down towards restricted, that is gonna limit the side spin that is shown in the game. So if you hit a massive hook in real life, that's what your launch monitor read, it will straighten that out in the game if you have this more restricted. So you can adjust that, play with it, and see how you want it. And then below that, you have play mode, realistic or casual. It's set on realistic, but if we click casual, then you have a shot boost option that you can slide up to 2x. And you can check if you want that to apply to a driver only. So if you want that player to hit a double distance drive with the driver only, just slide that up just like I've got it. If you want it to apply to like every shot, you can slide it however you want and just leave driver only unchecked. I really wanted to show this, that you can create a player, like if you have a child or just somebody that doesn't play golf, you can adjust these settings and make it more fun for them to play with you. Let me not forget to put this back so I don't give him any advantage. And then up here you've got the golf bag, which you can put in their kind of default distances for their clubs and adjust their bag. I'm not really going to go into that, but you can also click start bag mapping and do an entire bag mapping process if you want. And then Operation 36, this is how much of Operation 36 that player has completed. And we're going to talk about Operation 36 later in this video. So that was in the player settings. That's how you add players and you can adjust their realism. But if we go into the main settings, and we are in the game settings, I wanted to talk about a couple things here. One, we've talked about realism. We can go down here on the left and click realism. And here you can do the same exact things, but for the entire game. So every player in the game, unless they have a different setting, this will affect for everybody. So obviously we've got the shot curvature, and we can click on casual and add shot boost for the entire game. So if you wanted to do that way, you can do it here, but I think it makes more sense to add it on a player by player basis. Let's go back to game. Right here, player rotation style. You've got classic, play out hole, and putt out. I see this being asked a lot. If you're playing with multiple players, Classic is going to be just like you would play golf in real life. Whoever is farthest away from the hole is going to play next. Play out hole, if you click on that, that is going to have a single player keep hitting until they're on the green and then go to the next player. Once everybody's on the green, then they're going to putt based on distance from the hole. And if you go to putt out, that is where a single player will play the entire hole from start to finish until he is done with the hole, putted it all out, and then it's going to go to the next player. So if you've got a big group, it can be kind of annoying. Everybody getting up, hitting a shot, sitting down, getting up, da-da-da-da. So a lot of people prefer to switch this out so that one player can get up there and play the hole, and then the next player can get up and play the hole, rather than a bunch of like getting up back and forth and all that. And of course you can leave it on classic. Now down a little bit lower here, you see auto putt fixed distances. We talked about auto putt a little bit before when you're setting up a round, and auto putt fixed I mentioned was probably the most popular way that people use auto putt. And what that does is it gives you a gimme circle around the hole, which is basically a one putt circle. And then it gives you a larger circle around that one that is really your two putt circle. And then anything on the green outside of the two putt circle is going to give you a three putt. And so here in game settings, you can adjust those distances. So if you set the match to auto putt fixed, that's going to give you the first circle of a one putt is 10 feet and your two putt is 40 feet. But if I wanted to adjust that for the game, I could just do that here and put it to whatever I'd like. All right, we'll put it back. And again, this is setting the auto putt fixed for the entire game. You still have to, whenever you're setting up your round, choose auto putt fixed in your settings on that round, and then it will apply whatever distances you have set here. Now, another thing I wanted to show is here in System. So if you go to System, down here at the bottom, you've got options for download latest stable and download public beta. So anybody that wants to can play with the beta version of GSPro and test out a lot of new features that are in beta. And so, you know, obviously they may not be 100% bug free. That's why it's in beta. But if you want to check out the latest and greatest, you would just come here and click download public beta, and it's going to tell you to restart GSPro using the launcher, and you can email them if you find any bugs. So what's going to happen is I'll just close out GSPro, restart using the launcher, which I showed you on the first video. It should be just the icon on your desktop, and it will download the most recent beta version and automatically install it, and you're good to go from there. Now, if you find that something's not working or you just don't like it or whatever, you can just come back to System and download latest stable. That's going to download the latest stable version of GSPro and repeat the process. Close out, open with launcher, and it will automatically give you the latest stable version. So that is how you can go back and forth. And just one thing to note, if you are going to play an online match with somebody, you guys have to be on the same version of GSPro. So if you're on beta and the other person is on the latest stable, one of you is going to have to come in here and match the other, download that version, and then go back and you can play your online match. So really easy. I think people kind of worry about downloading the beta version. It's really not a big deal at all. Really, I've never had it crash anything or cause any major problems. It really just gives me a sneak peek to what they're working on. So I wouldn't be afraid of it. And if it does cause a problem, you can just come right back here and download the latest stable and go back to what you're used to. Now, the last thing I wanted to show, which people may have questions about, is in visual settings. So we'll go to visual settings. So we have here the distance display in the middle of the screen, and you can either choose up or down. I have it set on up, which is what I prefer. And so whenever I hit a shot, it's going to show the distance, like as the ball is moving in the air, running on the ground or whatever, and that is going to count up. So if you have up selected, it's going to show the distance that you hit the golf ball, basically. If you hit down, that is going to show you the distance to the pin. I don't know if GSPro still comes this way, but whenever I got it, by default, it was set to down, and I did not like it. Some people like that, but basically you hit your tee shot, and instead of it going from like 200, 210, 220, it's going backwards from the pin. And so as it's rolling out, the number is getting smaller. It's going from 150 yards, 125 yards, So when the ball comes to rest, you know how far the next shot is. But I just don't like seeing it that way. You can obviously see how far the next shot is once the screen changes to the next shot. I prefer up. Now there's a ton more settings in here, guys. You can go through them and find out what you like or don't like, or just leave it alone. But I don't want to go through everything. These are just the ones that beginners or new users may want to change, or I've heard them ask about quite a bit. Okay, so now we're going to talk about ghost play and ghost rounds, which are really cool. For this to work for you, before we get out of settings, we're just going to go back to game, and under game, check enable ghost play. I think by default it is turned off. If you want to try it out, you need to turn it on here. We're going to save and exit. It's a newer feature. And what it is it allows you to play against a pre-recorded round that somebody else has recorded on GSPro. And you can also be one of your own rounds that you've pre-recorded. So if you're playing by yourself, it's basically like playing a random person. We're gonna set it up, we're gonna go in a local match, and we're gonna pick a golf course that I have installed. We'll just go to Bay Hill, why not? And whenever I get to this screen, hopefully we'll see if this one has any ghost rounds. Yes, it does. I don't know why that doesn't stay up there, but right where my mouse is, it popped up and it said ghost rounds 19. So that'll show up there if there's ghost rounds available. So I'm gonna click on the plus button here to add another player, and you can see this little ghost icon. I'm gonna click that, and we're gonna have all these options of other ghost players. Quite a bit here, actually. GSPro Cloud means it is somebody else's round that has been uploaded to the cloud. And the next thing is the tees that that round is played from. You might want to select the same tees that you're going to play from. Then you've got a number here that I've asked in another video. I've never gotten a perfectly clear answer, but I've got some guesses. So for example, this GSPro Cloud red tees, we've got 7x. That could either mean that this ghost player scored in the 70s, but we don't know exactly what. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's what it means. My other thought was that it was that there are 7 random rounds from the red tees that you might play against, but the numbers seem to match up pretty well in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and here the junior over 100. So that just makes me think that's the score of that ghost round. And then as you go below here, you've got some that don't have the X. That's where you actually know what the score is. So that's really going to be the best ghost round available, the best score. And then below that, I saw in this course, you have some SGT rounds. So Simulator Golf Tour is kind of the tournament aspect of GSPro. And if there has been a SGT tournament on the particular course you've selected, you will see SGT rounds. And what that is you're going to be able to play against the best round from that tournament. And then of course you can select the tees. You can pick whatever you want to pick here. We'll just go with this white tee one. Match settings, you're going to set up like normal, however you would like your match settings, your course setup, all of that. And you can choose your holes if you'd like, but click play. Okay, so the course loaded, and you see we've got the 2 players here. We've got myself on top in red, and we've got the GSPro Cloud. That's the ghost player there. So we're going to see our scores, and I'm just going to demonstrate real quick how this works. I'll hit a shot, and you'll see the ghost player play after me. All right. So now you can see it's the ghost player's turn, and that's their drive. Pretty good shot. And so we're going to play just like that for the rest of the round and go from there. That's ghost play. So now I'm up because I hit a pitching wedge, and you can see their ball right there. So really cool. I find it a lot more fun than just playing by myself. If I'm playing by myself, I'm almost always selecting a ghost player to play with me. Sometimes I just blow up, and then my goal is to try to come back and beat the ghost player. So it's just another dynamic. Now, by default, every 18-hole stroke play round that you play on GSPro is uploaded to the cloud, and it could be a potential ghost round in the cloud, but it's only going to select the best ones. So another thing that you can do is save it locally so that you can play against yourself. What you're going to need to do to make sure you do that is whenever you finish any 18-hole round of stroke play in GSPro, the scorecard usually pops up at the end there, and it's not going to be here because we didn't finish it, but right next to your name, there's going to be a little ghost icon. And if you just click that ghost icon, it will save it as a ghost round for that particular course. That way you can pull it up later and play against that round. And I'm going to show you what that looks like real quick. Pretty sure Bootlegger's Lair is the only one I can think of that I've done that for. Let me add this here, select the ghost player, And there I am, Friendly Golfer, July 2nd, 2025, from the black tees. That's my round. I can select that and play against that previous round from myself if I wanted to. So really, really cool. Like this feature a lot. All right, let's go into the challenges. We click on challenges from the main menu. We've got more options. Let's start with Operation 36. Click on that. So Operation 36 is a real organization that basically teaches people how to play golf, and it's got a really cool method. The goal is to shoot even par on 9 holes at a certain distance, and once you've accomplished that, you can move back in distance. If it starts at 25 yards from the hole, if you can shoot even par starting 25 yards from the hole through 9 holes, then maybe you move back to 50 yards and so on. And it's in my mind, a great way to learn how to play golf. They do a ton of junior programs in golf courses all over the place. They even do it at my local course. This is the same concept built into GSPro. So you can choose from any of these Operation 36 potential courses, and the ones in green are my scores and how far I've gone. I have completed them, but I changed my player in GSPro, so all of that has disappeared. Click whatever course you want, click play course. Now it's set up at level 3, that's I guess where I left off. You can adjust the match settings. It's set to a gimme circle of 4, but you can also do auto putt fixed for those that don't have putting capability with their launch monitor. You can check the stimp, whatever, and click play. Now I've done an entire video on Operation 36. I'll try to see if I can link that before. It should be in my GSPro playlist on my channel, but it really kind of goes through the entire thing. But that's the concept. So you've got a bunch of ones that you can go through. I find that it's a great way to, I guess, have some fun without playing a full round. If I want to go to somewhere that I'm 50 yards and just kind of practice my short game and go from there. So here we're on level 3, which is at 100 yards. And you can see we've got a 100-yard shot. The goal here is to shoot even par for 9 holes. So if I hit a shot here, I've got to putt it out, and it's going to give me a score and just move on to the next hole. You can have a bogey on a hole and make up for it, still shoot even par for the 9 holes. That's just pretty much it. Operation 36 just moves the tees back. Don't quote me on this. I believe it starts at 25 yards and then goes all the way to 250 yards. I can't remember, but you cannot move up a level until you have completed the previous level. So you got to start at the bottom and move up. You can, once you've completed them, go back to previous levels and try to beat your old score. All right, let's go back into challenges and look at the distance challenges. This is kind of similar, but it's more of a single challenge rather than a 9-hole thing. You've got all of these different distance challenges, starting at the top from actual putting, 10 feet, 20 feet, 10 to 25, down to short game, 20 yards, 15 to 35, 40, 50, 60, 90, 100, all the way up to 250. And let me just open one up. We'll go to a 30-yard one and just click play. Okay, so what we've got here is the 30-yard distance challenge. You can see the scoreboard looks a little bit different at the top. This is shot 1 of 20. So we're gonna hit 20 shots from 30 yards. This one is about 4 feet uphill, which we can also see here, 3.5 feet to be accurate. And then I'm gonna hit a shot and just demonstrate how this works. 30 yards is an actual tough distance for me. So in between. That better roll. It did. Okay, so we've got different circles up there by the green, and now let's look at the scorecard here. So the SG is for strokes gained, so gained almost half a stroke with that shot. CTP is closest to the pin. It's 2.6 yards from the pin on that shot. And then it gives you a skill score of 738. That is up to 1,000. So if you hole one out, you'll get 1,000. And then the rings around the hole kind of go from 900, 800, 700, and so on. If you just hit it on the green, you will get a skill score still. I always forget this, but the numbers in white up here, or at least the white and red, are for the last shot. The one on the bottom is kind of your average for the challenge. So let me hit another one just to make sure that that is correct. I hit that pretty short, but it was pretty much right. Not bad. Okay, and you can see the top there, that one was 1.4 yards from the pin. That was definitely closer, and a skill score of 865. But below, on average, That's where I'm at, skill score of 802. I believe the actual closest to the pin, that adds for every shot. So 1.4 plus whatever the first one was, and that number just gets larger and larger. So you're gonna continue this. You've got 20 shots. I haven't played every one, but I think after 10 shots, it will change location and give you a different shot, different look at a different hole. And whenever you're done, it's gonna show you your stats, and there's actually a leaderboard for like daily, weekly, monthly, and maybe even all time for this particular skill challenge, so you can see where you rank for those time periods with whatever score you shot. It's really cool, a good way to practice. Like, let's just say I played around and I had a couple shots around 30 yards that were just terrible. I can come in here after the round and pick 30-yard distance challenge and just have 20 looks to try and dial that in. These are really cool, and I'm glad that there are so many of them, all the way from putting up to 250 yards. All right, let's close out of this. Go back into the challenges and look at the ultimate long drive. Let's load that up. Okay, so this is similar to Operation 36 in that this is an actual partnership with another organization, the Ultimate Long Drive Championship or whatever it is, but this is basically their gameplay built into GSPro, just like their tournaments are, I believe. So it's gonna start you off with a setting here. We can choose players, we can add players, we can put in their names. Now, on the round settings, we've got auto start clock selected. That is going to start this timer, this countdown timer, as soon as the first shot is hit. We can change the grid width from 40 to 70 yards. Any shots that are not within that grid are not gonna count. If you've watched Ultimate Long Drive before, it's gotta be in the grid. You can change the number of shots from 3 to 8. It's by default it's at 6, and time is set at 2.5 minutes. You can adjust that as well. Obviously, you've got your 2.5 minute timer here. We'll just click start. We've got your timer down here. We can click the little settings button to pop that up again. We can switch it with this button from day to night. Obviously, we want to leave it at night. Night's so much cooler. And if we didn't have auto start selected, you could start by hitting the go button, but we've got auto start. So the timer should start as soon as I hit a first shot. So you can obviously add your players in and compete with your friends here in your sim. Making videos is not good for being loose and warming up. Let me see if I can switch to this camera here. I think you can see my screen well enough, but that's pretty much it. I'm gonna hit a shot, the timer should start, and then I'll have time for 6 more or 5 more after that. And that's gonna be off the grid. And yes, those balloons you can hit. Okay, so actually, I hit the balloon and it bounced back onto the grid. It counted for 179 yards. Well, we'll go back to this. Need to do this quickly because the timer's still going, but the 179 up there is green, so that means it counted. Let's try to get you a real one. I don't think that's going to stay in the grid either. Even though I'm just demonstrating, I gotta like show you what it's like. Seeing a pattern. That same balloon is just getting killed. Okay, the other one that I missed, that's a good point. See, I missed the grid on that second one and it's in red. Kind of what I was wanting to show you. All right, timer's almost up. 12 seconds. Last one that's gonna count. And probably the best one. How does that happen? Okay, so I barely made it there, ran out of time. I don't think I finished all 6 shots, and now it's switched to the next player. So could be fun if you got someone to play with in your sim. All right, let's close out of here. Go back into challenges and look at the skills test. Now I'm gonna show the 60 shot skill test here first. And this is a standard skills test. Like you said, it's gonna be 60 shots. Yeah, your only option here is full bag. So you click full bag. You can choose players. We can just leave anonymous. You can check more players. No real reason to have more players here. Your target, it's either going to be based on your carry distance or your total distance. I prefer carry distance. Fixed is going to change the distances. I think it goes like 60, 70, 80, 90. But when you get over 100, it goes like 100, 120, 140, 160. Or you can click on random and it will go random distances, not in order. And then obviously camera, follow the ball or stay with the player. I'm going to leave it on random just because. We click go, see where it starts. Okay, we've got 60 yards. I'll hit a shot so you can see. And you can see the total here is, there's gonna be 60 total shots and 6 shots at each target. So there's 10 different targets. So let me try and hit a 60-yard shot. A little long. Okay, so we saw that that carried 67 yards. It was 30.5 feet from the pin, and it gave me a skill score of 577, and I've moved on to the second shot. This is basically what it is. It is set on random, so it's gonna jump around between the different distances, and it's 60 shots, so you'll be tired. But I kind of prefer another way to do that, which I'm gonna show you now. If we're going to exit out of here, open the settings, and abort. Now I should say that whenever you finish all 60, it is going to show you like a complete scorecard with all of your shots and skill levels and leaderboard and all that as well. All right, so let's go back into challenges. And instead of 60-shot skill test, let's go to custom skill test. This to me is a little bit more fun. In here, you're going to have a sampling of some custom-made skills tests that function similarly, kind of like this, and more like the distance challenges than the skills test. But you can see here some of these. This one is at Whispering Pines. There's 6 positions, 18 shots. So I guess that's 3 shots at each position, and a total distance of all of them combined at 518 yards. Again, this is on different golf courses. There could be all different positions. It's a little bit more dynamic and interesting than the regular skills test, and a lot faster. If you look down here at lot 15, there's 1 position with 10 shots, and it's a total of 1,005 yards. So these are a little bit more fun. But probably the coolest way to do this is you can create your own custom skills challenges. This is not something I've done much of, but I wanted to show this because it is so cool. Now, I didn't spend a lot of time down here, but this one here in the bottom left, that's my home course. And I just went real quick and dropped my ball in positions that my approach shots are often from, and I've now got an approach shot challenge for my home course. So you can kind of do the same thing. You can do it with chipping or however you want to do it, but let me show you how to do it. We're going to go back. We're going to go all the way to practice and on-course practice. We're going to select a golf course that hopefully I have installed. Let's go to Bear Dance. We can have our settings here and play Bear Dance. We're going to open this up again in on-course practice. You have to do that. Okay, so here we are, on-course practice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a position. We showed you this in the first video, how to place the ball. I'm going to place it closer to the green up here, a little approach shot. 36 yards, we'll do that. Now I'm going to go to round edit, and I'm going to hit add shots. That opens up. I'm going to add shot, and you can see from this shot, it's hole number 1, distance of 36 yards. And how many shots do I want to hit from here? We can do 1. Let's just do like 3. And then I'm going to click save. And I'm going to call this video test. That's going to be the name of my skills challenge here at Bear Dance. And this is going to be local to me. Let's go to a different hole. Just pick hole 5. Let's drop it somewhere 117 yards uphill. Add this shot. We're going to add this to my skills challenge. I'm going to click save again. Video test, save. All right, let's go to a different hole. Let's go to 16. This is a cool one. Let's drop it right over here. My approach shot, 67 yards, that's perfect. Add the shot again. Let's do this 3 times. Save, save. That's good. That'll be my skills test. We're gonna end the round and go back to challenges, custom skills test, and hopefully down somewhere we'll see what I just created. There it is. Bear Dance Golf Club, video test, 3 positions, 8 shots, 544 yards. Let's open it up and play. And here we are. This has more of the scoring of like the distance challenges, which I prefer. And you've got that same kind of scorecard up in the top left. We've got the 36-yard shot. For some reason, I did notice that the hole numbers get screwed up on this, showing hole 16, but if you remember, this particular shot was on hole 1. But that doesn't matter. So I don't remember if I clicked 2 or 3 shots from this position, but it will move on to the next hole. So really, really cool way to create custom skills challenges for chipping, approach shots, whatever you want to do, you can do it and save it locally to your system. All right, I'm gonna attempt to show the online match. Playing online with somebody else is probably one of the most fun ways to enjoy GSPro. I don't do it enough personally, but it is so much fun. It adds so much to the playing experience. So let me show you how to set this up. Obviously, you're just gonna go to online match and pay attention here. At the top, you've got either join a room or create a room. Let's switch it to create a room. And all you're gonna do is give the room any random name that you want. So we'll do test. Obviously, it might be better to just keep it one word. Test video, it doesn't matter. And I can click create and create this room. If I wanted to make the room public, that would allow anybody to join the room that wanted to. I could check this box, and if I click create, it would show up here under public rooms for everybody in GSPro. Right now, at the time that I'm making this video, there's nobody that has a public room open. But if I saw one there, I could jump into a public room with whoever created that and play with them. But we'll leave this unchecked, and if I hit create, it's going to launch me into a course setup. You're gonna want to give this room name to who you want to play with. When they go in, they go to online match, and they would go to join and type in the room name that you give them, and it'll put them in that room as well. So let's go back to create. I name my room test video. We'll hit create. Now it wants me to select a course. I'm gonna select Paynes Valley and set up the match for however I want to. If I'm playing with somebody else and I want it to be a match play or a scramble, I can do that. I can set the tees. However you want to set up the game, you can do that there in the match settings. You want to go into players here, and it looks a little bit different than normal. You can see down here at the bottom, it shows players in the room. Right now, it's only myself, and you can see the room name test video. If someone else had joined the room, they would show up down here as well, and so I would see all the players in the room there. Depending on the type of match that you're playing, you may need to change the team colors. The idea is if you're on the same team, you have to have the same color selected. If you want to be on different teams, you have to have different colors selected. And that's true with whether you're playing locally with other players or anything. So you can see that I am red. If there was someone else in the room and we're set to match play, they're automatically a different color. But let's say that we had more than that. Let's say I want to be on, or whoever this empty slot is going to be on my team. That would put these two players in red against a player in green. Maybe there's another player in here that we would make green, so it's 2 versus 2. So the team colors are how you separate that. If you're playing a scramble and there's just 2 players in here, or however that's set, obviously you're gonna be on the same team. So again, if I had somebody else, gave them the room name, they joined, they would pop up down here as well, and we would make sure the player settings are correct on this page. Obviously, you can select the holes like you normally would, but there's another option here for chat. This is kind of the lobby chat. You can really only access it here, so if you're setting up the game, you can chat in this box and send it to each other. But I don't think most people are using that. So there's different ways that you can go about communicating when you're playing an online match. You can see right down here in the bottom left, want audio video, try Video Ninja. If I click that, it's going to open a website in a browser called Video Ninja, and it's essentially just like any other video conferencing app like Google Meet or Zoom or whatever, but Video Ninja is free and it works actually well. I've been testing it with my live stream that I'm doing with Derek from Rockstar Golf every Wednesday morning-ish. We've tried Google Meet, we've tried Discord, but Video Ninja seems to work the best for us. I'll actually just click that and open it up. This is the browser that it's opened up. You can join with the camera or screen share. If you have a webcam, that's really the best way to do it. You can join with a camera. You can select your camera here and your microphone and click start. And what it's going to do is going to give you a link, or you can create a room name and share that with the person that you want to play with. And if you both have webcams, then you can see each other. You can be talking while you're playing. It's really the best way to do it. But you want to do something usually. You want to either call them on the phone, you can FaceTime them on your phone, you can use some other video conferencing app, whatever you want to do. But it just helps to be able to hear and talk to them and see them maybe, so you can kind of see like, oh, they're lining up to take their shot, so I'm going to be quiet or whatever. And it obviously makes it more enjoyable when you can just chat while you're playing. That's pretty much it with an online match. Once you've got your settings, your players selected, and you've got however you're going to communicate set up, you just click play, and then you will play that round. And it's really the best way to play GSPro. How do you find people to play with online, especially if you don't know anybody? The best place is the Simulator Golf Tour Discord. I'll show this to you really quickly. You do not have to be a member of the Simulator Golf Tour to be in their Discord. So real quick, you can go to simulatorgolftour.com, scroll down to the bottom and click Get Started down here. And if you look at step 2, there's a link here to join their group. If you click Join Our Group, it's going to open Discord and it gives you an automatic invite to join. I'm already in there, but you're going to have to create a Discord account to use Discord. So here I am, I'm logged into Discord and I'm in their Simulator Golf Tour group. It's basically a giant chat room. Okay, but if you look down here on the left-hand side, under SGT members area, you've got all of these rooms here that are looking for a game. LFG for seniors, for Australia, for auto putt if you want someone that's playing auto putt, if you want a scramble partner, or just the regular looking for a game deal. And you've got all these people in here that are pretty much ready to play at any time. You can see, just got GSPro, haven't played online yet, want to play in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And then people can join you. You can say, you know, what the room name is or whatever, and find someone here. Now, in addition, if you're in here, most people are going to use Discord as their communication method. And you can see some people are like, here, lobby 4, need 2 more in lobby 4 with putting, mic, and cam. Now I need 1 more. Down at the bottom, you can see all these voice chat lobbies. And so you can go into there. So right now, me, Friendly Golfer, is in the SGT lobby, number 1, and I can do my video call with whoever else from SGT right here. All we have to do is share the room name that we created, and we'll have our video call here in Discord, and we'll be able to play in GSPro. Let me disconnect here. There we go. So you can do that. You can find people in Discord and you can play with them like that pretty much at any time, or play with people you know, find them on Facebook, whatever you want to do. That's pretty much the process. All right, guys, I know these are longer videos, but I'm going through just trying to give everybody the best kind of broad overview of all these features that I can. If it was helpful, please let me know. I really only did this second half of the video because a lot of people let me know that the first video was very helpful to them. And there's new people joining GSPro all the time, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, but overall it's super simple to use. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you did, and consider subscribing. All I do is golf simulator content, reviews, and tips. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.